Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Steve Breach coming to you here today. I'm reacting to the news that is out there, basically blowing up Twitter right now. That WWE is trying to come to the terms of inducting Vince McMahon into the WWE Hall of Fame. I don't believe there is anyone in wrestling more deserving than going into the WWE Hall of Fame other than Vince McMahon. If it wasn't for Vince, there would be no Hulk Hogan, there would be no Macho Man, there would be the no basically worldwide takeover that basically started back in the 80s when he took the New York territory and basically through the likes of using cable television decided that he wasn't just going to run New York anymore. He wanted to run basically the whole United States. And he looked out over this vast land of wrestlers and said, I'm going to take this guy, I'm going to take this guy, I'm going to take this guy. Basically looked at every territory across the United States. I'm going to take the top two guys you got, and I'm going to build the dream roster of talent. Bring them here to New York, basically start up my own show that's going to get put out over cable television. I'm going to, start Wrestlemania. I'm going to have a wrestling event that is headlined by the stars of stars. I'm going to bring in Liberace, Muhammad Ali, Cyndi Lauper. I'm going to get wrestling put on to MTV and basically take over the rock and wrestling generation. Basically get into the pop culture of the day. The only problem with that, I don't think Vince McMahon, let alone the WWE, is reading the room. If it wasn't for the story that came out less than 2 months ago, Vince McMahon would still be running WWE. It was never made in the plans that he was going to step down and retire, move to Florida, basically make it public that him and Linda weren't together. He wouldn't have promoted Stephanie to CEO. I don't even think Triple H would be in the picture in WWE. I think that Vince did a lot of things in his days. And in the end, maybe it got a little messy and some people looked in and they needed a story and they reported on it and it became a big deal. But I don't think WWE just pushing him out there is going to be good public relations, for them. I mean, if you look at the WWE Hall of Fame, it's really nothing other than a special night, held WrestleMania weekend. It's another event. It's another ticket sold in an arena that they make some money off of. It's some t-shirt sales. And there's no real physical Hall of Fame. But if you look at it, they've got a murderer, they've got a racist, they've got a horrible president, already in there. I don't know what you really label Vince McMahon as. I mean, this guy, when it really comes down to it, like I said, there would be no WWE as we know it today. There would be no, I don't know if we'd still be looking at territories. I know that Vern Gagne, who was running like the Minnesota territory at the time, he was thinking of using cable television to spread it a little bit. He started moving down into Vegas and stuff like that. So maybe he would have done it. But, there would be no WrestleMania. There would be nothing that we know of today. There would probably be no WCW because there would be no Ted Turner to throw his hat into the ring. Basically, I think that it just would have dissolved back in the day when the Crockett's ran out of money. So the man won the WWE Championship in '99. He beat Triple H on an episode of SmackDown. He's a former champion. He is a Royal Rumble winner. he easily had the biggest feud in the biggest time in wrestling, being Austin versus McMahon. He headlined a pay-per-view and a steel cage match at St. Valentine's Day Massacre. He also headlined the tag match with him and Shane against God and Triple H. Man wrestled in a Hell in a Cell match against DX. He shaved his head at WrestleMania. The guy really has done everything. If anybody deserves it's him. I understand. You want to get it over with. Last year we had Undertaker go in. Now that Triple H has moved into this role, he's not going to go in probably for a while. I think you save that for as long as you can. But when it comes down to it, they got The Rock. And I don't really know who else is that ultimate proven, this is our main eventer for the year. From here on out, it's going to be guys like Sid. Or, you're just going to be scraping guys out of ECW and WCW that were a name. But, when you look at it and you say, like, bam, this guy is a Hall of Famer. There's no debate about it. They're running out of guys. It's just, I think the fact is they put too many guys in at a time and didn't really save names for this. So I don't really how much longer this is going to last. But you put Vince in, I understand. But as of right now, I think it's too much, too soon. Bad publicity. If he goes out there, every person who's going to be in that arena that's going to buy a ticket, it's going to sell out. They're going to cheer him. They're going to say thank you. Probably one of the longest ovations you've ever seen. And I bet when it comes to Vince, I bet it's going to be one of the shortest speeches that we've ever seen at the Hall of Fame. When he goes out there during WrestleMania and they announce the Hall of Famers, I'm sure he's going to get a loud ovation right there. And he can do the Wrestlemania one more time, just like he did at WrestleMania 3 back in the day. But in the public eye, whether if it's ESPN, NBC, sports talk radio, whoever's looking at this, it's gotta be bad. People, it's gonna bring up people talking about why he's not there anymore. I don't think people forget. I don't think people just thought he rode off into the sunset one day. They know the story. It was national news. I think that story came out from the New York Times, if I remember right. But I understand. It makes sense. But I think there's going to be backlash.